Rewatching something you loved as a young teenager, as an adult, is a wild ride. The other day, I started rewatching Pretty Little Liars from the beginning, and I was immediately struck by how different my perspective on the story and the characters is as a 28-year-old versus as like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old when I started watching it. The perspective shift that comes with aging 10 to 15 years is crazy. I wasn't even sure if I was going to enjoy the show anymore when I picked it, but I mean, hey, my ramen was getting soggy, and I thought it would be fun to relive the nostalgia of, like, those Which Pretty Little Liar Are You BuzzFeed quizzes, and the era of high school girls being played by 24-year-olds in business casual. But no, I forgot what an absolutely wild ride that show was, and I found it stood up surprisingly well to the test of time for me, and that I actually still kind of enjoy it, but for very different reasons. The first thing that struck me was how creepy Ezra and Arya's relationship actually was. 13-year-old me ate that up. Every single episode, it was like, oh, Ezra and Arya, how cute. 28-year-old me is appalled and wondering what the hell is wrong with Ezra, who is probably my age now in the show, to do that? And also, what is wrong with the people running this show to have thought it was okay to write an obvious grooming storyline as if it was cute and romantic to a young and impressionable audience? Which led me down a whole rabbit hole about Marlene King, who was the showrunner for many, many years, and how she tweeted some very weird stuff. Because she used to be like a little too invested in the show and the fandom and would like live tweet with underage fans all the time, and it was sort of weird. But not as weird as the fact that this like 50-something-year-old woman was a hardcore Ezra and Arya shipper and even called them soulmates a few times. Watching the show, I was shocked at how many times, even in the first few episodes, the relationship between Arya and Ezra is romanticized, and how many times they act as if the only reason it's forbidden and highly weird is because it's a student-teacher relationship and not because it's actual pedophilia. With the only person really taking issue with the age difference and calling it out for being as creepy as it was being Ezra's friend, who was at the bar, I repeat, the bar, Ezra took 16-year-old Arya to on a date. The rest of the characters who take issue with the relationship seem to only take issue with the fact that it is a student-teacher dynamic. And several of them almost seem to blame Arya for being too immature to handle it. Especially Ezra, despite displaying horrible immaturity multiple times himself, despite being the age where he should know better. Arya is still treated as the immature one. Which, like, yeah, Ezra, you little freak, what did you think was going to happen when you got with a 16-year-old? Immaturity is to be expected. Because, like, she's a literal child, what are you doing? But actually, all the relationships on this show, dysfunctional as fuck. Like, we've already been over how we have Arya dating her teacher, then we have Spencer hooking up with her sister's fiancé, and this somehow being not the first time in her life that Spencer has hooked up with her sister's partners. Then we have Hannah and her weird pastor's son promise ring waiting to happen boyfriend Sean, whose car she crashes into a tree in like episode 4 and has to like go work off the payment for the car repairs in a dentist office, and then joins his weird celibacy club. to, like, make up with him, I guess. Which, like, if you want to do that, you do you, but, like, do you really need a whole ass club for it? Where you, like, act out saying no to spicy time in front of a teacher? That's weird. And then we have the parents, who are somehow even more dysfunctional than the teenagers, with, like, Arya's dad cheating on her mom, and then gaslighting Arya into covering it up for him. Hannah's mom sleeping with the cop who arrested Hannah for shoplifting. The whole weird thing between Toby and Jenna. Everybody is so dysfunctional. Like, all I'm saying is, they had a lot to work with. I also noticed that my favorite characters have changed quite drastically for me. Like, when I first watched this show, Arya was my favorite character, and now I find her rather boring, to be honest. Like, the most interesting thing about her is her creepy relationship with Ezra. And that's really more of just creepy than it is interesting. As for who my new favorite character is, now I'm kind of leaning towards Spencer or maybe Hannah. I've already seen most of the show, mind you, but it's been so long I've kind of forgotten a lot of it. And with the perspective shift that comes with being a 28-year-old versus like a 13-year-old, it's like a brand new show to me. So if you've never rewatched a show you loved as a child or teenager as an adult, you should. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Just kind of seeing how much you've grown as a person and the way your perspective on the characters and the storyline shifts as you grow older. It's pretty fascinating. I'm having a good time. By the way, this lip gloss tastes like strawberry cheesecake, and it's just about the best thing I've ever made in my life, and I'm in love with it and obsessed with it. So don't miss out on this. Don't sleep on this. It's linked in my bio. Go get it. It's amazing. I love it.